when we're doing a nice foot reflexology session, I like to first of all just have a nice feel around of the foot. Get a general feel for what's going on. Feel all the toes. Feel the different bands within the toes so we can feel that that's quite tight. Have a look at the toes so we can see the little toe is curling under here. We can see this one's coming down, this one's up, this one's up. So we can learn a lot from just looking at the toes. And then we can have a feel here. We can see instantly that one that's curling under is quite sensitive. Okay. We can feel the top of the toe here. And again, before we start using tools as well, it's just nice to use our fingers to warm the area up. We get a bit more blood flow happening, but we get to diagnose, we get to have a feel. I often pull the toes just to start with. Again, if they're going to go nice and easy, let's move them, right? Double clickers on a lot of these. And immediately I can also feel with that big toe, and you can see with this tendon here how the toe is being pulled up. Yeah, there's a lot of tightness. It's springy, like it just boom, wants to go right up. So I'm looking at her foot and going, the first two things I really notice is the little toe curling under and the big toe curling backward. It's like they're going in totally opposite directions, which is interesting. So I have to think about where do I want to start. And I think what I want to do again is just do a little bit more general stuff. Get the blood flow happening, because I know that when I start using tools, it's going to be quite uncomfortable for her. So I am thinking that I'll just start with the big toe and we'll loosen that up and then maybe go this way, or maybe go big toe, little toe, and then in the middle. Again, there's not one hard and fast rule for that. But I'm certainly feeling like this big toe needs a lot of work. And you can see at the moment, you know, that's the movement, and she's got okay movement being pulled back that way because that's the way her toe is being pulled, but really not good movement this way at all, you know. So I know that I'm going to want to work with a chopstick through here to get this tendon to stop pulling the toe forward, and then I'm going to want to work on all the other bands of the toes as well. And then I can see automatically that the fact that the little toe is being pulled this way, I'm going to want to work on this inside band which leads up into the upper little toe band. So I'm going to be putting a chopstick in here, putting a chopstick in here. And that's going to take me quite a while. The whole treatment, you know, I want to set certain objectives. Let's just say I've got just over an hour and a half. So that'll take some time. We'll see how we go. Throughout the treatment, then I'm just going to get her to deep breathe. So I'm going to start with this point here. And just feel where her limit is, where she's going to. And it's quite decent. I'm able to get in there quite a lot without her pulling away, but I feel like I'm right at her threshold now. Okay. So again, I'm going to work with her breath. Just let her breathe into that. I could always come, if she's also quite sensitive, and I could work a bit on each toe. I don't have to just go, let me completely loosen the big toe, okay? Because we can see already we've got some flicking of the toes. So an interesting thing too is, even though, like I said, we can see how strongly, you know, contracted this tendon is, and we would work in this spot, there could be some question as to whether the energy actually kind of goes in and behind. The tightness or the energy that's causing the tightness actually comes in and behind and also joins in with this spot. Okay, so that's something to think about, and that's why in this case I'm doing this point first, even before I do that point. Again, with this technique, sometimes I close my eyes and I just feel that congestion of whatever word we want to use, energy or whatever it may be. And then I'm also projecting like a laser into that chopstick to break that up and letting her breathe into that and disperse it through her breath. quite intense. Just holding it there, slight changes of angles. Encouraging her to let out any noise that she feels that she needs to. Using that breath like a vacuum cleaner or a garbage disposal unit to get rid of whatever it is that's keeping this area charged. I like that word, charged. It's like the energy channels are charged. And it's getting less charged by her breathing into it. And she's doing very well. So she's got a good breath there. She's doing the shifting. I'm doing the bringing of awareness to the point that's tight, and she's actually doing the shifting. And as it lets go a little bit, I can move it, get a different angle slightly, and project my energy into that point like a laser beam. And she's going to breathe into that and let it go. How are you feeling, Kristy?
Good.
Good. And you know, this being a Friday, she's had a few days work. We've already done some head massage. Yesterday we cleared up some of the congestion in her jaw on the side of her head, and we've done assisted belly breathing. Yeah. Yeah, when I'm changing my angles and pressure.
Yeah, just to know when you're actually just, like you said,
Slight variations.
And then you're giving her a break.
Yeah.
Just to know exactly what
Yep.
that's
So slight change there.
Yeah.
And letting it move around a bit, just letting her kind of, you know, feel that changing again, my angle. So almost like when you're cleaning something and you're sort of aiming at like a high pressure hose and you're just getting a slight, you know, it's like, so that's what I'm doing. And then I'm changing the angle of her toe. So I can get right in there. And I feel like the charge is definitely decreasing. So we're getting rid of some of that.
But the pressure's all been the same.
Yeah, pressure's all the same. It's the angles that are different. As I feel like it's no longer charged, then I'm looking for anything that is. Okay?
So once you feel it slightly starting to let go, you change the angle.
That's right. Until there's nothing left, no charge left. Then I'm going to move down one of these 4 bands. So in this case, I'm just going to come down here. I want to do all of them. And let her breathe into that. So I feel like I'm going to keep that level of pressure, which is about a 9 probably for her. Up to, you know, you can feel it because it's like she wants to sort of pull away, but she's not pulling away. And then ease it off very slightly, just so that she can, again, it's her breath that's going to shift this. I'm the servant of the breath. I'm bringing awareness to where she needs to breathe into and let go. Okay? And then feel that's let go a little bit, so I'm increasing the pressure slightly up to that point where I'm like, there, we're accessing the charge again, and she's breathing into it. And I'm slightly changing my angles again, just to get a different angle there. I feel like that's where it's still holding.
Oh.
Again, and being sensitive to whether that, as she breathes into it, lets it go, it starts to shift. And I can start to feel uncharged. Get uncharged. And then I'm ready to move on. and I'm going a couple of millimeters to the next point. Then if and now I'm even slightly wiggling it just to enhance the movement. Following that. And my angle is slightly different now, where it's actually kind of going this way. Okay? And I'm letting her just, she needs to move her foot around, a bit of energy moving there.
Oh, sorry.
You're right. And I come back, and I'm not just going straight in, I'm sort of moving, because I'm wanting that to move up and out through her breath. I'm following that down, and my angle's into the toe diagonally. And then a little flicker at the end. So into it, pushing that energy, she's sucking that tension out, or the energy that's causing the blockage, the chronic residual tension. And it's coming out through noise, through breath. And I'm basically keeping my pressure, because there's a lot of trapped energy here, I'm keeping my pressure relatively stable, but then I feel like it's starting to disperse, so I'm increasing it slightly here. Now you can see she's shifting it again. And then I'm slight movement there to keep it moving. And you can see how that slight movement, she feels it as quite a strong. And I've moved spots now. And then twiddling it, just to keep it moving. Okay, so, and you can see it's the energy that's trapped there can be of various emotional natures. So sometimes people may be laughing, but underneath it there's going to be some crying or some other energies. So I tend not to get too caught up in whatever the person's experiencing in that way, because it's their own thing, and it could shift like the wind, from one emotion to another. Whatever's trapped in here. As I say, it's whatever's causing tension, because we need to think about, well, why is the foot tight? Something's causing that tightness, right? So, for want of a better word, in Chinese medicine they might say it's a blockage in the qi. We could say it's some emotion, perhaps. So just hold that, let her feel that, and then ever so slight movement side to side. But you can see that she's very aware of the fact that I've got this chopstick in her toe. You would find that you're aware that I'm working on your toe.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, and then I'm holding that. So we've reached this very, very important point, which is where this tension meets the first joint. So remember I've talked about that with you guys, like how important this spot is. Next to like here and here, this tends to be an area where it gets really held. And can be quite sore, even uncomfortable if it's very tight. So here what I'm going to do is actually bend her toe and then go slightly more into the joint and then see how she feels about that. As I say, she may have different feelings come up. But she's doing very well because she's just letting, like I say, non-judgmental frame of mind about energies coming up. Because otherwise, if people get caught up in judging, oh, squealing's bad, laughing's bad, good, they're not naturally flowing with whatever's trapped in here, because this needs to come out. That's what we're doing. We're working together to get rid of this tension. See, then I can just have a little bit of a go. It's a little bit more, it's bigger, this point. Sometimes a bit more easy to slip. But I just want to give her a little break from the point of the chopstick. So you can see that's actually really shifted really well, okay? It doesn't take long if the person works with you and they let the noise out, they breathe. If somebody holds and resists, well, it can take forever. You might never get it loose.